Edited AN. Hey, not too much was edited in this chapter. Please enjoy. Thanks for the continued support to this story. Don't forget to vote and comment. Please enjoy the chapter. Part 1. Brown eyes gaze at the pink phone, reading every single word that appears on the bright screen. A pleasant giggle sounds the room as another message pops up and eager fingers type a fast reply, adding several cute emojis before sending. Okay, serious question. What is your favorite desert in the whole wide world? Deku. Oh, wow, that is serious. You just answer the question. Deku. I don't really have one since I'm not really into sweet things, but if I had to choose, I like green tea ice cream. You. What, seriously? I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Deku. I guess not. What about yours? You. Well, I like strawberry ice cream and chocolate too. Chocolate is the best. Deku. I see. So strawberry represents your favorite color, which is pink, and chocolate represents how you're simple yet very likable at the same time. Uraraka blinks in surprise at the statement. How in the world did he just guess that from my favorite deserts? You. That's amazing. You're so right. Are you psychic? Deku. No, I'm just a writer and, also, really good at guessing. She chuckles at that. Uraraka just loves talking to Deku. He's always so interesting to converse with, and the brunette found that she can talk to him about almost anything. Well, except for her feelings for him. That'll be super weird, and he doesn't need to know about that. Anyway, Uraraka continues talking to him about a variety of topics, sometimes involving school. Deku is incredibly smart and often assisted her with her homework or explains things she didn't quite understand in class. Then Deku will ask her some questions about herself so that he'll know what he'll write in his book. Speaking of his book, she's still surprised that he decided to dedicate an entire one to her. It's insane. She feels so honored that he thinks, no, believes that she of all people is worth telling a story about. She always blushes when she thinks about it, and it honestly makes her feel so special, like she actually matters. What a wonderful feeling, she thinks blissfully, smiling like an idiot. Promoted stories. You'll also like BNHA. The Paths He Chooses Book 1. A Fate of You, 149K 2.6 kits. A normal day for Izuku as he completes his normal routine and goes to school. Along the way he runs into Yui Kodai, a quiet and mysterious girl of Class 1B, the infamous child Iswocha fanfic, 15.2K 548 quirkless. Oh, Book 2 started. April 12, 2023 ended. March 2, 2025. Both Midoriya and Uraraka will face something they aren't ready for, a family, and become parents. Toget. Waves Kiribaku Deku 376K 15.6K rankings number 1 in Karibakudeku, number 3 in Pro tilde Kiribaku Deku tilde tilde. It comes and goes in waves, it always does. It always does. We watch as our young hearts fade into the flood, into life is simple. Love is not. Izuku x Maruko, 138K 3.6K. Completed adult quirkless Izuku O. Rumi gets assigned a government liaison to help with her hero work. The problem is Rumi never wanted a partner in the first P. I am here for you Iswocha 236K 4.5K characters. And settings all owned and created by Kohei Horikoshi. This is a non-profit fanfiction edited by Nimish Wenkade and Kaori 112 Arc 1. Ochako is worried. Abu. Shining Light Iswocha 40.5K 912 quickless. Normal. No heroes or quirks. Izuku Midoriya and Ochako Uraraka have been best friends since kindergarten. But when problems in high school try to drift them, Playboy Hollow right pointing triangle Bakudeku 248K 7.7K. But that isn't going to stop me from taking back what was rightfully mine from the fucking beginning. Izuku and Uraraka are best friends, nothing could ever tear the life sure becomes a lot more bearable with Deku in it. She isn't going to deny that. Deku. Uraraka, I love talking to you. It's really great, but I need to ask something. Uraraka tenses and sits up on her bed. She gulps and stares at the message. What does he want to ask me? Why does he sound so serious? Does he like me? Is he gonna ask me out? No, Uraraka, don't jump to conclusions. Just reply calmly. Yes, damn it, I sent the message while it was on caps lock. Now I sound like I'm angry or irritated. She whined. You had one job, Ochako. Deku. Are you okay? Yeah, I just accidentally replied in all caps. So what is it you wanted to know? Deku. Oh well, I wanted to ask if you have school tomorrow. It's almost 12 a.m. Shouldn't you be sleeping? Uraraka stares at the message for a long time. Of course that's what he'd ask. Why would he ask anything else? After all, she's still just a child to him, right? Nothing more. She forces a smile and replies. You're so right. I'll get to bed now. Thanks for reminding me, Deku. Deku. Not a problem. Sleep well. Let's talk tomorrow about the novel. Later. She sighs and places her phone down on her bedside table. She stares at her pink sheet sadly before eventually falling back onto her bed. She tries not to think about her aching heart as she drifts to sleep. Tilde degree tilde. Ok. Ko. Ochako. 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 Huh. What? The brunette finally stops daydreaming and responds to her name being called. She sees Toga, who has an unimpressed pout on her face as she lies upside down on the brunette's bed, her head hanging on the edge. Yes, Hamiko. What is it? Don't. Yes, Hamiko. Me. The blonde complains. I've been calling your name a bajillion times now. Uraraka turns on the seat of her work table and looks at her in surprise. Wait, for real? Yes, for real. Asui confirms with a sigh from her seated position on the floor. She turns the page of the novel she's reading. While exaggerated, she was calling you multiple times and you didn't respond. Care to explain why you suddenly became deaf? Uraraka sighs heavily. Honestly, I don't know, I can't help but feel down. Why's that, Choco Choco? Toga queries, turning over to sit up properly, her earlier annoyance gone at the sight of her friend's disdained expression. The brunette lets out a sad hum but doesn't really speak. Oh, the blonde girl finally figures it out and exchanges a look with Asui. I think we know what's going on. The brunette looks up at Uraraka. It's that Deku guy, isn't it? Uraraka glances away awkwardly, her hands placed between her thighs as she swings her legs slightly. That's all the confirmation her friends need. Toga gasps. Don't tell me Choco Choco. Did that happen? What? Uraraka asks curiously. What did she mean? What else? Toga questions like it's obvious. You two finally had sex, and it didn't meet your expectations. Quote dot 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 quote dot. Quote dot 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 quote dot. Quote dot dot dot. So Ochako, Asui turns to the brunette, ignoring their other friend. What really happened? Huh, why'd you just ignore me? The cat-like girl complained. Aren't I right, Hamiko? Asui gives her a tired side glance. No, you're not right. Uraraka yells, standing up from her seat. Because to do that we'd have to have some kind of intimacy, but since Deku obviously doesn't see me as anything more than a child, we obviously wouldn't have sex, or kiss or do anything romantic for that matter. So, you're wrong. Her friends just stare at her in silence, shocked by her outburst. Uraraka looks back at them, realizing what she just said. Toga shifts on the brunette's bed awkwardly. Geez, I'm sorry, Ochako. I was like, half joking. The brunette sighs heavily. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you, Hamiko, it's just. She sits back down in her chair. I just feel like my feelings for Deku aren't being acknowledged by him. Well, have you actually confessed to him? Asui asks. Uraraka glances the other way, twiddling her fingers. Well, no, really. Then how do you expect him to know? The brunette questions with a raised eyebrow. Yeah, at least try and tell him you wanna get in his pants. Toga reasons. Okay, you are not allowed to speak anymore. Asui gives the other girl another tired look. The blonde girl pouts and folds her arms. But that's not the only thing. Uraraka chides on. Every time we meet up, he's always laughing at me like I'm some goofy 5-year-old. And when we text, late at night, he reminds me to go to sleep like my mom would. She sighs again. I just feel like we have more of a sibling relationship than a romantic one. It's like he doesn't see me as a potential love interest at all. Yeah, sometimes he calls me cute or teases me when I blush, but that's as far as it goes. And it's not like I don't make it obvious I like him when we see each other. So the only sensible conclusion is that he doesn't like me that way. She stares at the floor sadly. Her friends exchange glances before Asui closes her novel and sighs. And this is why they say us girls think too much. She mutters, making the brunette look up at her confusedly. Huh, Ochako, I'm going to be honest with you, the brunette began. The reason why you feel that way is because it's true. Wah, let me finish, Asui says sternly. It's true that Deku probably views you the way you think simply because you are younger than him, which means it's only natural for him to look out for you like an older sibling would. But that's the problem, I said, let me finish. Even though he views you that way, it's okay because a lot of relationships start out like that, but that doesn't mean it can't grow into something more. Remember that Deku is like what? 2 years older than you. And even though you're 18, he probably doesn't want to come off as pushy or demanding. That's why it doesn't seem like he likes you like that. Uraraka considers her friend's words. She never thought that Deku was just being considerate of her. It's actually sweet of him to do that now that I think about it. She smiles to herself, but it quickly fades. Still, does that mean it'll have to stay this way? You're probably wondering if you guys have to stay that way, right? Whoa, you read my mind. Well, that's your own fault for having every little thought written on your face. Asui giggles before quickly switching back to her default expression. But anyway, to clear up your worries, no, you don't have to stay that way. If you want Deku to start liking you for real, you have to make it clear to him that it's okay. Give him the thumbs up to say you're comfortable with that kind of relationship. Trust me, the last thing you want is for him to think it's wrong to like you. The brunette finds herself blushing at the thought of getting serious with the older man, so basically, I need to confess to him, right? She asks. Asui taps her bottom lip, pondering. Well, you could, but knowing you, you'd chicken out. What kinda encouragement is that? What? It's true though, the brunette says. But, instead, how about you show subtle hints to him? It will save you most of the embarrassment. Okay, I can do that. Uraraka smiles excitedly before tilting her head curiously, but what kinda hints? Simple stuff like holding his hand, sitting next to him, hugging him, looking at him affectionately, making treats for him. Asui goes on, and if you're really bold, kiss him on the cheek. KKK kiss. Uraraka face glows red when she repeats the word. Yup, but only if you're bold enough. Asui says. Oh, and don't overdo it with the hints. You don't want to come off as desperate or, as Hamiko would phrase it, thirsty. The blonde girl looks up from her phone and snorts. Ah, right, thanks Suyu. Uraraka moves from her chair to hug the brunette and she hugs her back. No problem, Ochako, but genuinely though, I think you should just tell him how you feel. Hints can only take you so far and a lot guys don't always pick up on them. Just make sure you don't regret anything, okay? Asui smiles at her softly. Uraraka twirls her hair nervously, contemplating her friend's words but ultimately returns the smile back. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Good luck to you then. Asui nods before looking up at their other friend. Hey, you can talk again. Gee, thanks, Toga says sarcastically before her cat-like gaze fixes on the brunette. Looks like Sue gave you all the advice you need when it comes to the emotional lovey-dovey stuff. But, she grins, if you ever need help with the more mature side of romance, I'm here to lend my services. Asui sighs. I hate to agree with her but she's right. You should go to her for that kind of advice. Uraraka's sweat drops. Okay, thanks Himiko. No problem, the blonde grins. By the way, I wanted to ask, how come this Deku guy always meets at night if he's not trying to bang you? Will you drop it with the sex thing already? The brunette screams before sighing. He said he doesn't like crowded places so he prefers to come late in the night, usually around the time I'm cleaning the place. Really? The blonde asks. I guess he's not a sociable guy. Understandable. The brunette nods in understanding. Honestly, you haven't really told us much about this Deku guy like at all. Toga says, give us some details, I wanna visualize him. Yeah, I hate to admit it but Himiko has a point. Hey, and you guys have been seeing each other for almost 3 weeks now. Asui points out, completely ignoring the blonde and opening her novel again. Describe him to us. Oh, well sorry to keep you guys in the dark this whole time. Uraraka says sheepishly, well, he's really handsome but like a cute kinda handsome. His face is kinda pale and he has freckles too. He also has messy green hair but it looks good in these big, kind green eyes. It just makes me wanna stare at them forever Tilda, she muses happily, her rosy cheeks becoming rosier. Asui and Toga stare at their friend with surprised, widened eyes. That description, Asui begins her thought, it can't be. It matches him exactly. Himiko finishes it. He's super kind and sweet, and has the cutest laugh Tilda, the brunette continues absent-mindedly before remembering. Oh yeah, and he's a writer too. Wait, a writer. The brunette stands up in shock, which surprises Uraraka. Huh, what's wrong, Suyu? The brunette asks in confusion. Ochako, I need to know something. Asui asks her steadily, though her furrowed eyebrows concerns the brunette. The brunette team holds up her novel and seems to glance at the front cover before looking back at Uraraka. Is Deku, like a nickname of his by any chance? I'm not sure, I guess it kinda sounds like a nickname. Uraraka replies, now that I think about I never got his last name. She suddenly pauses as her face lights up, oh, that's right. I was supposed to call Deku today. We need to discuss some stuff. She says, quickly bringing out her phone before turning to Asui. Hey, sorry guys but this is important, is it okay if we talk later? Asui is about to say something but decides to hold her tongue on the subject. She instead gestures to Toga and the blonde girl nods. It's alright, we'll get out of your hair, the brunette smiles. Let's go Himiko. Yeah, Toga waves to Uraraka. Bye Chako Chako. Bye Suyu. Bye Himiko. As the two girls walk out of the brunette's apartment, their expressions are a mixture of seriousness and worry. Hey Sue, Toga begins. That description and his career. Messy green hair, green eyes, freckles, palish skin, doesn't like crowded places and of course a writer. Asui repeats what their friend had told them about her love interest. She looks at her novel again. It's too much of a coincidence. But, if it's true then, that means Choco Choco is. The blonde trails off as she glances at the greenette. She's caught the interest of him. Asui says, gulping a bit, holding her novel that's titled, Chronicles of the Frog and the Crow, written by Izuku Midoriya. The number one writer. We should investigate this, Sue. I mean, this can't actually be happening. Toga says, not wanting to believe it. Usually I'm not one to poke into other people's business, but this is too big to ignore. Asui says with determination, we have to find out. Oh yeah, I'm totally in. Toga lets out an excited snicker. Looks like the brunette's friends have caught their own interest in her crush. But just how will it turn out? Okay, so now Ochako's friends found out that she is seeing a celebrity, but what will come of this? This can only lead to trouble. This can only lead to trouble. Cough anywho, I hoped you enjoyed the chapter. Please remember to vote and comment. Tilda Destiny Style Anime. Where stories live. Discover now.